Supreme wrap for the politics of shoot and scoot. The Supreme Court today dismissed a plea by the Delhi Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia's plea seeking to quash the defamation proceedings against him by the Assam Chief Minister Himanta Biswa I. While dismissing the plea, the court also came down heavily on Manish Sisodia. Justice S.K. Kaul remarked, "You have to face the consequences for reducing the discourse to this level. Without paying heed to what country was facing, you make such statements." Referring to the statements made by Sisodia, after which he was sued for defamation by the Assam Chief Minister, the court also fumed, asking, what do you mean by Assam ki CM ki biwi ke bhrashtachar? In fact, these were the statements that were made. Also saying, after Sisodia's counsel argued that he had never really accused Sarma's wife of receiving any money and was only adding color to his statements. In fact, the court also said that Sisodia should have already given an unconditional apology, and this has now taken a political turn.
In response to this, Dr. Himanta Biswa Sarma filed a defamation case in his personal capacity. The Honourable Court in Assam in Kamrup, the Chief Judicial Magistrate, took cognizance of it, issued summons. Against that, he came to the Honourable Supreme Court. The Honourable Supreme Court, a bench of Justice Kaul and Justice Oka, rejected the arguments of Dr. Abhishek Manu Singhvi, who appeared for Mr. Manish Sisodia, and went on to hold that and did not admit the appeal. So it was finally dismissed as withdrawn.
Now, the case dates back to the COVID period when the Aam Aadmi Party leader had claimed that Himanta Biswa Sarma had awarded a contract for the PPE kits to a firm that is linked to his wife, despite a clarification that had come in from her that the kits had been given to the state free of cost by her company. Manish Sisodia persisted with his charges. After this, Himanta Biswa Sarma took Sisodia to court on defamation charges. My colleague Nibir Deka is joining us live with the details. Nibir, a court trap coming in for Manish Sisodia, and the court also saying that you should have apologized earlier, but you stuck to this discourse, so now you have to pay.
Yes, indeed. Today, the Supreme Court pulled up the Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia over his plea against the defamation case that was filed by the Assam Chief Minister. Well, this was done against the comments made by Sisodia earlier when he held a press conference and made certain allegations against the Assam Chief Minister regarding irregularities in the PPE kit distribution that was done in Assam back in the COVID lockdown. And today, while hearing the plea that was filed by Sisodia himself, the Supreme Court commented that the public debate has been reduced to a lower level, and that's why Sisodia now will have to face the consequences and should have tendered an unconditional apology earlier. So this is a development coming after the defamation case was filed by Assam Chief Minister against Sisodia, and there were also summons given to Sisodia to appear before the Chief Judicial Magistrate Court in Assam.
Okay, all right. In fact, Nibir, this was a charge that had been made by Manish Sisodia, and despite a clarification that had been issued by Rinki Bhuyan, the wife of the Assam Chief Minister, Manish Sisodia continued with his charges.
Yes, following the allegations that were levied against the wife of Assam Chief Minister, there was a clarification made by the company and saying that these PPE kit were given under the Corporate Social Responsibility Act. So the clarifications were already made, and even after that, there were certain allegations made by the Aam Aadmi Party as well as the Deputy Chief Minister, and as a result of that, the defamation was filed, both in criminal and civil defamation was filed by both the Assam Chief Minister as well as the wife of Assam Chief Minister. And following the defamation case that has been filed today, the Supreme Court has observed and has also remarked that the Sisodia will now have to face the consequences over the allegations that were levied in the press conference against the Assam Chief Minister.
Okay, all right. In fact, a massive embarrassment for the Delhi Deputy Chief Minister, because he had approached the Supreme Court seeking the quashing of the defamation proceedings, but the Supreme Court not just dismissed it, but also pulled him up for making such statements without any basis, Nibir.
Yes, it looks like an embarrassment because the court has said that he should have apologized earlier, because even though the clarifications were made by the Assam Chief Minister as well as the wife, the allegations continued to be leveled against both of them, as well as even by other leaders of the Aam Aadmi Party. both locally as well as in Delhi, and as a result of that, the matter had to be taken up to the courts. And today, the highest level of the court of the country has commented in a way that the Delhi Deputy Chief Minister will now have to face the consequences over the actions, which include the allegations that he had levied against the Assam Chief Minister, and that's why the highest court of the country is now commenting that he will now have to face the consequences over the allegations that he made against the Assam Chief Minister earlier when he held the press conference.
Absolutely. In fact, let me also introduce Nilashish, who is joining us on the broadcast with more details on this. Nilashish, we're seeing a tough rap that has come in from the top court of the country. Justice called saying once you reduce public discourse to this level, you have to face the consequences. And remember, in the court as well, Manish Sisodia's counsel arguing that we did not level such allegations against the Chief Minister's wife, after which the justice intervened and said, no, we have the manuscript of the press conference that you called. You should have apologized.
Well, absolutely, Abhishek Manu Singhvi appearing for Manish Sisodia here, and Justice Sanjay Kishan Kaul clearly saying that once you reduce public debates to this, then you must face the consequences. Manish Sisodia has been forced to, in fact, withdraw his plea, which was appealing against the Guwahati High Court order, which had refused to quash the case against him. Of course, Himanta Biswa Sarma had leveled defamation case, defamation charges against Manish Sisodia for allegedly linking his wife to illegal supply of PPE kits. The Guwahati High Court had summoned Manish Sisodia as well earlier in September. Of course, now the plea has been withdrawn after it has been stated very clearly by the Supreme Court that you should have tendered an apology, an unconditional apology, a long while ago. So now, of course, the matter has been withdrawn, has been taken back by Manish Sisodia's counsel after the Supreme Court pulled up the lawyer.
Absolutely. In fact, political analyst Akashdeep Munif is also joining us on the phone line. The shoot and scoot politics where such allegations are being made. This is the top court of the country holding Manish Sisodia accountable for his words.
Allegations which cannot be sufficed by evidence, there has to be, the court will come back on this. But I think at this point in time, it is very prominent to note that the Deputy Chief Minister of Delhi had made some allegations and he has some evidences. He should come out with the evidences and prove his point rather than just going to the court and facing the defamation case. Apart from that, they should specifically bring out the evidence behind the allegations. And they will do it as the Deputy Chief Minister has always done it.
Okay, but you know, in the court as well, it was being denied completely, and finally the justice had to pull up Manish Sisodia and his counsel as well. And do you think that this is a major loss of face for Manish Sisodia because he stuck to the claims, these charges that he had been making against the Assam Chief Minister's wife?
See, in political life, there has been number of allegations made by number of people. I hope you remember what happened in the
allegations. Yes, but this went to the top court of the country, and it continued. In fact, the top court has also pulled up Manish Sisodia by saying you should have apologized. You should have seen what the country was going through instead of stooping down to these levels.
See, I won't be able to comment on what the court has said because I have to go to the intricacies of the case. However, I will surely say that if there has been some allegations, the Deputy Chief Minister should come out with the evidence on their allegations rather than just tendering an apology. Because he would have thought over and then spoken rather than just speaking without thinking.
Okay,
so I think that he should come with the evidence.
I just want to read out what the Supreme Court has said, saying you have to face the consequences for reducing the discourse to this level without paying heed to what the country was facing. You made such statements, and this is the Supreme Court saying this to the counsel of Manish Sisodia. Do you think now a lesson can be learnt for the leaders who make such allegations without any basis?
I think in political life, of course, lessons should be learned by everybody. I hope that the Aam Aadmi Party as well as the Bharatiya Janata Party learns the lessons when they lied many a times and proven false by your particular channel, number of times, by your editor-in-chief, that how they made.
Well, they always have the option to go to the top court. This is the Supreme Court of the country that has pulled up the Delhi Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia. Akashdeep Munif, thank you for joining us.